Everybody, and welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. And now we are here for our Wednesday evening championship in the Super Formula cars. We are at Fuji, but we're on the short course. Fuji, of course, in the foothills of Mount Fuji in Japan. 14 turns, 2.8 miles ahead of the guys. Although this is a short track, I think they've missed out the chicane bit on this one. It is still pretty technical track. So still in for some interesting racing, and obviously we're in the Super Formula, so it's going to be quick. So without further messing about, we're just going to crack straight into this one. It's round 4, and I don't have the up-to-date league table. I know there is one. So I'm not saying there's not. There is one. It's just I've not got it. I'm not that prepared this morning. So we'll get it for you next week. But we are only on round 4. So still plenty of positional changes to take place. So anyway, like I said, we're just going to get straight on with it, shall we? And have a look down the grid. So 13 on the grid for today's race, which is a fantastic turnout. And let's have a look and see who we've got. Well, Woodrow has managed to put himself onto pole position. He's followed by Stormfly in second. Neil Farmack is third on the grid with Unforgiven in fourth. Nice to see Unforgiven up there amongst the leaders. So let's hope he can do something in this race and keep himself up there. Nath is fifth on the grid with Method sixth, Grasshopper seventh, Brian Moncani is eighth, Osman in ninth. It's not like Osman to be all the way down there. Maybe he's not quite used to this car yet. I don't think actually that Osman has actually made an appearance in this race before, so it may be just a bit of an adjustment into the car. We shall see. Willard is 10th on the grid, Rossi 11th, Sai is 12th, and well, another new name. It's fantastic. I love it when new names come on. We're getting more members by the day, and it's fantastic to see these guys on the grid. And this is RBR Tidders or Tiders. We'll call him Tidders. Got to be careful with that one, haven't I? Yeah, Tidders, welcome to the grid. Welcome to Ultimate Racing League, and hope you have a good race. Back up to the top then. Let's get the normal camera and we'll get this race underway. We'll go through some of the rules in a bit. This is a 50-minute race, so we've got plenty of time. Whoa, what a long hold that was, but it is eventually lights out and we are away. And it looks like Grasshopper didn't get the best of starts actually. He's already dropped a place, but he's making it up as we go into turn 1 at first corner. I've said this many times, the Japanese are not actually that cool at naming corners, so they are quite simple. As we come down then through Coca-Cola at turn 3, and then we're into turn 4 and 5 at 100R. It's called 100R if you didn't know, because of the 100 meter radius. Simple as that. Through into the hairpin at turn 6, and then through onto turn 7. So let's just go up and see what's happening up at the top. So Woodrow in the Ferrari leading Neil Farmack in the west. He's in second, Stormfly is in third, then we've got Brian Moncani, Method in fifth. He's closely followed by Grasshopper, who's made up for that poor start. He's managed to get himself up into 6th now and trying to make his way through the grid. Osman in 7th, Rossi in 8th, Nath is 9th, Sai 10th, Unforgiven. Well, what a poor start for Unforgiven. Not quite sure what happened to him. We're not going to go back and have a look, but all the way down in 11th. After starting 4th on the grid as well, we had high hopes for Unforgiven, but all the way down in 11th. But as I say, still plenty of time to catch up. Willard is 12th with Tidders down in 13th. As they cross the line to start their second lap here in Fuji, it is still Woodrow. So, about the tyres, all compounds have to be used unless the wet stuff falls. Now then, it has been known to fall at Fuji. But fingers crossed it's going to stay a dry race. Well, the drivers want it to be a dry race. I would love it to be a wet race, but so would the crowd. They've got their umbrellas and the rain mats. I'm sure a bit of wet they would appreciate that. See the cars sliding around a bit, makes it a bit more interesting, but yeah, the drivers are probably hoping for a dry race all the way around. So yeah, if it stays right, all three compounds, softs, medium, hards, have to be used. So it's going to be a minimum of 2 stops. Great shot of the Mount Fuji in the background there. As we just follow the grid then. So no real change then. It is still Wadru, Neil Farmack and Stormfly are the top 3. Brian Moncani is in 4th. Method is 5th, with Grasshopper still in 6th. And getting very close and personal with Method. In fact, we'll jump on board with Grasshopper as we go across the start-finish line to start lap 3. And Slipstream really coming into play there. Now then, is Grasshopper going to make a move before they get to turn 1 at first corner? He's on the inside, but do you know what? I think he pulled out of that one. I'm not so sure Grasshopper actually wanted to make that move. But in the end, Method sort of gave in. But Method is there still on the inside. Oh, getting a little bit touchy-feely as they go through turn 3 at Coca-Cola and then into turns 4 and 5 at 100R. And it is Method that has retaken that P5, although Grasshopper's trying to sling it around the outside. He's not going to get it done there, is he? But oh, a great switcheroo there from Grasshopper. But Method really putting up a fight. Let's get out of the car, shall we, and have a look at this, because these two really are battling away. There we go. Oh, that's the bit you would normally go into the chicane, and you know what? I think Grasshopper thought he was going into the chicane. It's very hard to adjust to the track when you're so used to one outlay and then suddenly you're on another. It happens all the time. I think Red Bull's the biggest one. When you go on the short track there, you should turn right after turn 1, but a lot of people go straight on and straight into the concrete barrier. So easily done. But Grasshopper back down to 7th. Osman moves up to 6. He's starting to get a feel for the car now, is Osman. And if you look down at the bottom right, you'll see there's a little overtake that keeps glowing red. Now, if the guys push that button, it's like the, what do they call it, the DRS that they have in the F1 cars. Although I don't actually think the rear wing moves. But it is like a little boost to push the cars along a little bit. So let's have a look at the tyres, shall we? So our race leader Wadru on the soft tyres, so is Neil Farmack. Stormfly on the mediums. Brian Moncani also on the mediums, Method on the mediums. A lot of people going for the mediums then. Osman also on the medium tyres. Grasshopper, oh, Grasshopper on the softs, pushing a bit too hard, I think, and he's picked up a 1 second penalty. Well, that's cruel, isn't it? 1 second. It could be a couple of half seconds added together. I'm not sure where he's picked them up, but Grasshopper desperate to get by Osman on those soft tyres before they start to lose their grip. Nath's just sitting behind him. He's also picked up a second penalty as well. He's on the mediums. Rossi on the mediums. Then we've got Sai on the mediums. So is Unforgiven, Willard and Tidders all on the medium tyres then. So only a couple of guys, and Tidders got 1 second as well. So that's not going to help his cause. Just dropping off the pace of the guys in front of him, and that 1 second penalty is really not going to help his cause, is it? But as I say, a bit like the situation with Osman, if you're new to the car, they do get some getting used to. The grip is absolutely unbelievable, and you've really got to trust it. And obviously, the way the aerodynamics works on these things, the faster you go, the more grip you have, and less, obviously, you're going to sling it into the hairpin at 150 miles an hour. Then you will expect to come off. My mouse has just died on me. Not my real mouse, obviously. Laptop mouse. So we're just following Tidders and our newcomer to the league. And as I've said many times, welcome to him. And we always do love to see new people in the league. So back up to the top, the red Ferrari of Wadru still leading the way with Neil Farmack. Not that far behind, actually. There is a gap, but it's not much. Stormfly is still there in 3rd, so these three starting to try and pull away. There's that shot of Mount Fuji again. Brian Moncani in 4th. Doesn't want to let the guys get too far ahead of him. Method in 5th with Osman in 6th. Grasshopper in 7th after getting rid of his penalties. He's managed to hold on to P7, but the tyres are going to start to wear now. Rossi in 8th on the medium tyres. Nice to see Rossi in amongst it. In fact, we'll jump on board with Rossi, shall we? As we go into turn 1, we will do a full lap of this circuit with one of the guys at some point. We'll let them all settle down and we'll do a full lap just to see how the guys do it. So a quick look behind us and we can see Nathan in ninth trying to chase Rossi down, and you can see just how much grip you get there as they go through 100R. Normally you would have a bit of a lift, but not in these cars, you don't. Nathan getting closer and closer, so Rossi will have his eyes on the mirrors, and you can see there a great shot of the Nathan's car. And that's the bit where you would normally go into the chicane, as I mentioned earlier when we followed Grasshopper, but Rossi managed to avoid it this time. Nath all over the back of him now then. Is Nath having a bit of a look up the inside? Ooh, I thought he was going to go for it, but no, Rossi saw that one off. Then we've got Sight, great livery on that car of size, sitting in 10. So little gaps starting to appear now on the grid. We get a little battle like with Nath and Rossi. Then there's a little bit of a gap back to Sight. Sight not really coming under any pressure at all from Unforgiven, who's currently sitting in 11th. Not quite sure what happened to him at the start, but he was 4th on the grid, wasn't he? And before we'd even got halfway around the track, he's down to 11th. So yeah, sorry we missed that one, but Unforgiven will be absolutely cursing. Willard in 12th with Tidders in 13th, and at the minute looks like that gap is increasing between himself and Willard, but we do have the pit stops to come, and if this is Tidders' first outing in this car, then he's doing a good job, because they are not easy to drive, these things. Great looking car as well, actually. I do like the livery. I do like to dabble in the making of liveries myself, and I do appreciate it when I see a nice livery, and I appreciate the work that's gone into it. So whoever's done them, well done. So back up to the top, and well, it looks like Neil Farmack is getting a little bit closer to Wadru. Now then, let's have a look at the tyre situation. Not too bad on Wadru's cars. Neil Farmack, a little bit more wear on his, but he has caught right up to the back. I think he's been using the overtake button slightly more than Wadru has, so Wadru's got just that touch more, maybe a thimble or two full more than Neil Farmack, so he's got to be careful where he uses it. But Neil Farmack definitely within the slipstream of Wadru. These two having a proper good battle, both on the soft tyres, so they have got the mediums and the hard tyre. Oh, as Neil Farmack goes very, very wide coming out of the hairpin and into turn 7, he'll be lucky if he gets away with a penalty there. I think he has actually. He's managed to avoid a penalty, but you can tell how hard he's pushing. He's using every inch of the track, getting his wheels on the grass. You can see they're very dirty on the left hand side, so he's got to be careful as he goes through the next couple of turns. Stormfly sitting in 3rd, just about see the guys up ahead of him, especially when he gets on the straight, and he'll be hoping that the two of those have a good old battle, which will allow Stormfly to catch up. We all know how quick Stormfly is, so keep an eye on him for the rest of the race. Oh, pressed the wrong button. I'm trying to sort my laptop out at the wrong time as well, so apologies for that. We'll get there in a minute, just bear with me. Okay, that's that updating. So we have our first pit stop then. It's Grasshopper in. Now then, I think he's done this before. He seems to pit very early. Plenty of fuel. He's got a good few laps left in those soft tyres as well, but he's come in, so he's obviously got a strategy. I think he tried this last week, and well, it didn't really pay off for him, did it? But he's trying it this time around. He's getting a full tank of fuel. So we'll see what tyres Grasshopper's on, but a very, very early stop for Grasshopper, and he's out of the mediums, but all the way down at the back now, just behind Tidders. But Grasshopper the first to pull the trigger on the pit stops then. Will he make it to the end of the race, or is he doing a 3-stop? Unlike the rest of the grid, who are probably only looking at a 2-stop. But as I say, I think Grasshopper did a very similar thing in a previous race, and it didn't really pay off. But now he's battling with Tidders. Is Tidders going to let him through, or is he going to have a race? We'll just keep an eye on these two, because this looks like it could be a good little fight here. Tidders on the mediums, they are worn, but plenty of grip still left in them, and Grasshopper on a brand new set of mediums. And He's got to try and make his way back through the grid and try and catch up to the rest of the guys before they start their pit stops. But at the minute, he can't get powered by Tidders. So Tidders in 12th, Grasshopper in 13th. As they come up towards the final turn at Panasonic, turn 14. Then we've got a 1,475 metre sprint. That's a long old straight line, isn't it? But it is a sprint nevertheless, all the way into turn 1, and Grasshopper finally gets the move as he moves to the inside, and he gets his nose in front before they get to turn 1 at first corner, and Grasshopper now moves up into 12th. Wadru still out in front then with Neil Farmack for company. These two do like a good old battle, don't they? Stormflight sitting in 3rd, the Flying Dutchman, on the medium tyres, so he's going to have the luxury of the softs to come. Now it's interesting to see how many laps we do on those soft tyres. We're about 13.5 minutes into this race on lap 11, and looking at Neil Farmack's tyres on the left hand side of the car, at least they're about 50% worn. So what are we looking at? Probably about another 3 laps on the soft tyres. So it could be the fuel actually that forces the guy into the pits, not necessarily the tyres. So it'll be interesting to see what Neil Farmack and Wadru come out on when they do make their pit stop. Remember, they've got the choice of mediums and hards to come. Stormflight, he's going to have softs and hards to choose from. Method still in 4th with Brian Moncani in 5th. Brian Moncani sticking very closely to Method. Another great looking car actually. Let's have a look at this this car of Brian Moncani's two-tone. From one side it looks like the Subaru 555 there, doesn't it? And then from the other side it's the Lucky Strike. Maybe he just couldn't quite make his mind up what livery he wanted, so he decided to go with both. So it is a bit of the 555 Subaru livery and the Lucky Strike, but hey ho. So that's Brian Moncani sitting in 5th. Osman in 6th, first outing in the Super Formula. Now this course, apparently this course, well obviously it's part of the main Fuji course, the big course. This one, the main course I think was opened around about the 1960s. This one opened in 1965-ish, something like that. After a bit of a refurb, they opened this one. I can't remember what the races that this one was supposed to hold. But it's a good course actually, I quite like it, taking the chicane section out. Got an elevation change of only 40 metres, so pretty flat really compared to most of the races. And obviously you get that fantastic view of Mount Fuji in the distance, especially when you come in around the hairpin, around sort of 100R area and the hairpin. As we're following Osman on medium tyres, as he comes around turn 10 at Dunlop Corner, then he'll go into turn 11 and 12, through 13 and then on to 14 at Panasonic. The final turn before hitting that long straight, and then it is foot down on the noisy pedal all the way to turn 1. Maybe using a little bit of the overtake, no real point at the minute he says. Oh no, he's hit the button just to give himself a little boost. 174 miles an hour, oh just touching 175 before we hit the braking zone for Osman. Rossi in 7th then. Oh, a bit of a move from Nath on Sai. So Nath, oh, let's just go back and have a look at that one. We'll go back a little bit further so we can see what's happening. And it was Nath, wasn't it? So onto the straight then, into the slipstream. And really doesn't start pulling you in until you get 2/3 of the way down. Then he hits the overtake button. Very clever thing to do there, Nath. Gets his nose in front just on the inside into turn 1. Gets onto them brakes, slows the car down just enough and gets that move done. And there we go. Nath up into P8 with Sai chasing him down in 9th still. as they come up through 100 turns 4 and 5. Nath on the medium tyres, making them work for him now. They're up to maximum grip, aren't they? So good racing from Nath to get himself up there into P8. Side dropping down to P9. He's on the medium, but his fuel light is flashing. So Sai will be coming into the pit. So maybe a lot of the guys are going to be in the same situation now with the fuel and thinking about a pit stop. We know that Sai's going to have to come in. Unforgiven, well, the fuel light will be on in a minute, and I think this is going to be the case for most of them. Grasshopper's the only one who's already made a pit stop, so he can stay out just a bit longer, but that is a big gap for Grasshopper to try and catch up. Be interested to see where he ends up after the pit stops. And then Tidders, again, looking at the fuel, he's going to have to come in pretty soon. So Wadru out in front at the minute. There we go. Method is into the pit. So Method has decided to come into the pits, and I've got a feeling that the likes of Wadru, Neil Farmack, Stormfly are all going to be following him. They are just coming through turn 7, 8 and 9 now. Brian Moncani in 4th. So yeah, the rest of the grid are all going to have to pit, aren't they? The only one that hasn't got to pit now is Grasshopper, because he's already done it. So Grasshopper leapfrog Sai and Method, and up into 10th as they're in the pits. Let's see what's happening up at the top with our race leader. Is he going to come into the pits now? Surely he can't get one more lap out of that car. No, he can't. I didn't think even Wadru couldn't get one more lap out of that. He's basically running on a thimble full. So Wadru, race leader, into the pits, followed by P2 Neil Farmack, then Stormfly, who is currently 3rd. The rest of the grid will be following him. Brian Moncani is coming in as well. Osman is going to have to make a stop. So is Rossi. Oh, 1 second penalty for Rossi. He will be cussing and cursing at that. He is followed very closely by Nath, also coming into the pits. Willard is going to be in, Unforgiven. So it is Grasshopper, really, then. It's up to him as he comes around turn 14 at Panasonic. Now the fuel's gone into Wadru's car, so Wadru is going to be coming out of the pits now as Grasshopper comes across or down the straight, heading towards the start-finish line. Stormfly, Neil Farmack, all out of the grid. Now then, it looks like, if I can go up, it looks like Stormfly had managed to get the drop on Neil Farmack in the pits. So maybe Stormfly didn't put as much fuel in. No, he didn't. So Neil Farmack filled up. Wadru also filled up. Stormfly didn't. He's just gone over 3/4, but Stormfly has managed to now get himself between Wadru and Neil Farmack. And he's on the hard tyres. Let's have a look. Wadru on the mediums, and Neil Farmack, same strategy as Wadru, also on the mediums. So Stormfly saving the softs for the last bit of this race. But if he can stay in amongst these guys, then he has got a real chance of actually winning this race. So right, you know, I like to put my 50 pence on certain drivers as we go along. At the minute, I'm going to put my 50 pence on Stormfly, because I think he's got his strategy absolutely spot on. He's quick enough to keep up with these guys on the hard tyres. Now, I've got a feeling that Neil Farmack is probably going to make a move on him and take P2 away from him over the next few laps, but I'm sure Stormfly is not going to be too bothered. He just needs to stay in amongst these guys. And yeah, my 50p is now on Stormfly to take the win. Grasshopper, well, his strategy seems to be paying off for him so far. He's now up into 4th. Remember, he stopped very early. I think it was lap 5 or 6, something like that. So Grasshopper now up to 4th, and a bit of a gap actually between himself and Brian Moncani. Grasshopper on the medium tyres, so he really needs to get a hurry up, doesn't he? He wants to make that gap between himself and Brian very big. I'm not sure he will know that Brian Moncani's on the hard tyres. All depends what his race director's telling him. So Brian Moncani all on his own. Our Belgian bullet operates a crane by day, apparently, and not just any old crane, a big old crane, a proper crane, I think, anyway. Oh, as he goes off and has a big old kiss with Barry R. Oh, what Sorry Brian, but we are going to have to go and have a look and see what happened here. Was it? Oh, he's just coming out off the top corner. He just caught the curb, didn't he? And it completely unsettled the car. Big old snog with barrier. And that's got to be damage. Yeah, damage at the front. Dirty tyre. You can see the dirt on the tyres. He's got to get rid of that. And be very, very careful into the next couple of turns. Could have happened at a worse place, to be honest. Very technical section just coming up. And into turn 13, then 14 at Panasonic, and back onto the start-finish straight. Now, I'm not quite sure what the damage is set at. If it's set to light, there we go, it's set to light. So these cars fitted with the nano box that actually repair the cars as they go along. But Brian McCartney, that is not what he needed. Now then, Grasshopper back into the pits again. He does like these early stops, doesn't he? He likes to get through these tyres. Now, maybe Grasshopper is trying to use all three compounds early so that he can carry on the soft tyres. Let's have a look. He's back out on another set of soft tyres. So he's done softs, mediums, and then softs again. So Grasshopper is looking at a 3-stop. And at the minute, that early stop, I think maybe a bit too early actually, has put him down in 11th with quite a bit of traffic ahead of him. So maybe not such a wise move after I thought he'd got his tactics pretty much okay. Get himself up into 4th. He's gone and dropped himself down to 11th, but we'll keep an eye on him. Cy in 12th with Tidders still going in 13th. So and looking a lot smoother actually. So he's starting to get to grips with this car now. Fuel flashing, so obviously when he made his last pit stop he didn't put any fuel in excuse me, on the hard tyres, so maybe he's just doing the minimum. I think is it 1 or 2 or 3 laps, I can't remember. It's 2 or 3 laps is the minimum on each compound tyres, so I'm guessing that's what Tidders has done. He's put the hard tyres on, he's going to do the minimum requirement on them, and then he's going to go in, get a fresh set of boots on and a full tank of fuel, and he'll be back out again. Still out in front though is Wadru, and opened up quite a decent breathing space for him now, back to Neil Farmack, who, as we predicted, has taken the spot away from Stormflight and moved back up into P2, but I'm sure Stormflight is not going to be too worried at the minute. He's still within touching distance of the 2 guys in front of him, and that's exactly what he wants to do. He's on those hard tyres, so he knew that Neil Farmack would make the move on him with the better grip, but Stormfly, I think he's got his tactics right to go onto the hard tyres for the second stint. Osman now up into P4, so he's having a decent race actually, considering it's his first one. I'm pretty sure it's his first one. And having a good race is Osman. He's used to being up there anyway, isn't he? He doesn't like being any further back than, well, first. Not quite sure he's going to get himself on the podium in this race, but if it's his first outing in the Super Formula, then it is a very good one. But he's a very quick driver anyway. Is the Wizard with the wheel from Wales? It's a mouthful, isn't it? Wizard with the wheel from Wales. And that is our Osman. Races on a regular basis actually with the top YouTubers. So keep an eye out for him when you watch, well, we all know who we're on about. So keep an eye out for Osman, you'll see him on the dailies, but very quick driver is Osman. Then we've got Method in 5th, he's no slouch either, and again, another fantastic livery. I'm going to get another look at this one. Telefonica, and yeah, it's a very, very good livery is that one. Bit of work gone into that. So well done to Method if you've done that yourself. Oops. Got the right camera in a minute. Now then, we did say, didn't we, that we were going to do a lap with someone, so let's do it with our race leader, shall we, Wadru? So we've crossed the start finish line, heading down towards turn 1, aptly named first corner. Hard on the brakes to get that car slowed down around that almost hairpin turn through turn 1, then into turn 2, heading up towards the left-hander of turn 3 excuse me, called Coca-Cola, into turn 4 and 5, which is 100R. We mentioned this before, it's called 100R because of the radius of the turn, 100 metres. Then we are into turn 6 at the hairpin, through turn 7, and then it is foot down hard, down the hill, through turns 8 and 9, through 300R, you can guess why it's called that, into turn 10 at Dunlop Corner, then into turn 11, missing out the chicane obviously, through what is now turn 12, and then 13 and 14 are a combined corner, long sweeping right hander, being very careful when you get onto the power, and that's it through turn 14 at Panasonic onto this very long straight, 1,475 meter straight, all the way down across the start finish line and into turn 1. So that was a lap with Wadru, a very quick lap as well actually. Fastest lap at the minute is Neil Farmat, as Neil Farmat makes the move on Wadru going into turn 1, and what a great move that was. He got himself into the slipstream, made the move at the very last minute. Fantastic driving between these two. Wadru just gave him enough racing room, and Neil Farmat takes full advantage, says thank you very much, but I'll have a go at leading this race now. Both on the medium tyres, and already a gap starting to open up, so Wadru trying to get away from, Neil Farmat trying to get away from Wadru, but Neil Farmat used all of his overtake juice, whereas Wadru has got, well, loads left. So maybe Neil Farmat used it all on that move, and he's just planning on trying to defend like mad, but Wadru really needs to start pressing that button and get these overtakes done. He needs to stay in touch with Neil Farmat, cannot afford to let him get away. Stormfly then, oh, it looks like we've had a spinner. Yes, we have. It is Neil Farmat now. It is all happening now as Neil Farmat manages to get himself in front. Now, was he just a bit too eager on the noisy pedal through turn 14 at Panasonic? Oh, he's got too wide. He's got himself onto that little AstroTurf stuff out there on the left. What a disaster for Neil Farmat. He's trying to get that car turned around, but the thing is just spinning all over the place. No traction control for Neil Farmat. That's for wimps. And he is off and running again, but all the way down in third, and a good old distance between himself and Wadru. Never mind Stormfly. What an absolute disaster for Neil Farmat. At turn 14 on lap 22, has now got some recovering to do. Managed to hold on to P3, but well, he's gone from the lead. A fantastic move as well to get the lead against Wadru, and then goes and messes it all up on turn 14. What a pity for Neil Farmat. Stormfly, well, big grin on his face, as will Wadru as well, but Stormfly on hard tyres, actually running in P2 at the minute. He will be loving it, and my 50p is absolutely firmly on Stormfly now. Wadru on the medium tyres, he's got the hard tyres to come. Stormfly's got the softs. Neil Farmat also has got the hard tyres to come, and after that little disaster, he will not be looking forward to them. Osman in fourth. Now, he's not close enough to make a move on Neil Farmat yet, but he's got to be careful because Method is right, well, he's not right behind him, is it? Whoa, what's going on here? I thought he was, I'm looking at the map at the top right. Oh, it's Tidders, so Osman is just about to pass the back marker of Tidders. Apologies for that. I thought Osman was racing with Method then. I've just looked at the top right and seen there were two cars very, very close together, and completely forgot that Tidders is just about to be lapped. So Osman using a bit of the slipstream there very wisely as well. Why not save on a bit of fuel and the tyres, as Tidders pulls to the inside, is almost as if he's defending this corner, which he shouldn't be doing. I'm sure the blue flags are being waved for him, and yeah, he just eventually just moves over and lets Osman through. Method is in fifth, so there is a bit of a gap between Method and Osman. And it's getting a bit lonely for Method now, so I'm sure he'll be pleased to see Tidders actually. It's just the fact there's another car on track. Brian Moncani in sixth again on his own, so things are starting to spread out now. Oh, we do have a bit of a battle on our hands, and we've got Willard and Nath. In fact, let's go on board with Nath, as we just see the mountain in the background there. As I say, it's just coming through 100R, and then you come around the hairpin. You can just see it on the right hand side, Then as we come through turn 7 and 8, if you look up, you will see the mountain there somewhere. Where is it? There it is, on the right hand side, just coming into full view now. Fantastic backdrop for a race, isn't it? So through turn 11, or what is now turn 11, and 12, a quick look behind us, no pressure whatsoever from Unforgiven, so Nath has got his full concentration on the car in front of Willard. Around turn 14 then, and now let's go for it. He's hit the overtake button as well to give himself a little bit of a boost, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to Willard. Quick look behind, and well, there's a couple of cars battling away, so we'll go and see what's happening there. It is Grasshopper and Unforgiven. Unforgiven, have a look at the inside of Grasshopper as they get towards turn 1, and Unforgiven has got the move done. Has he managed to hold on to it? Bit of a squirrel on the way out, but yeah, Unforgiven gets his nose in front. No, Grasshopper's fighting back as they go through turn 3 at Coca-Cola, and Grasshopper now gets his nose back in front again, so these two are having a proper ding-dong. It is Grasshopper in 9th, Unforgiven following him round in 10th. Grasshopper on the soft tyres, Unforgiven also on soft tyres and looking very worn at the minute. So these two are going to have to pit pretty soon. Remember, Grasshopper's already made 2 pits. Unforgiven has only made the 1. So he's got his last stop to come with, whoa, what's the time? We're just over 32, nearly 33 minutes. So 17 minutes of this race left to go. Rossi in 11th with Side 12th and Tidders down in 13th. Well, that was the closest we got to a fight, wasn't it? As we're just following Stormfly through turn 3, still in P2. Neil Farmack in P3 at the minute after that absolute disaster on the last lap. Or last couple of laps, I can't remember when it was now, but it was a disaster, wasn't it, for Neil Farmack? That's, although he's not lost too much track position, he's still got a foot on the podium, but it is not where he wanted to be. Osman in 4th, then we've got Method, Brian Moncani, Willard. Well, there is no battling now. Unforgiven trying to catch up to Grasshopper. Those two are going to be in the pits pretty soon. You can see Sai is in. Now why is Sai coming? He's just going to get rid of those hard tyres, I think. He's had enough of them. He's got just under a quarter of a tank of fuel, so he's going to fill up. And I can't remember what tyres he's coming out on, but he's had enough of the hard tyres. Tidder's getting the blue flag because somebody is following him around. Is it our race leader, or is it can't quite see who it is. I think it's Method, actually. I think Method will be catching up to the back of Tidders soon, but Tidders first outing in this car. I believe it's his first outing. I did miss the first couple of races, so he may have took part in those, I'm not sure, but I think it's his first outing, so just getting used to the car. Hopefully he'll be back next week. So our race leader then, Wadru, looking very comfortable at the minute, out in the lead of this race. He has got Stormfly not too far away now. Then the fuel light is flashing for Stormfly. Remember, he didn't put as much fuel in as Wadru and Neil Farmack when they made their stop because he was going onto the hard tyres. So he's obviously practiced this round. He's got his tactics and he's sticking to them. And he's going to come into the pits now, but he has got the luxury of going onto the soft tyres, and he's got 15 minutes to make them last as well. So Stormfly into the pits then from P2. Wadru stays out and stretches that lead even further. Neil Farmack, he'll stay out as well. Still got enough fuel for another lap or two. So Neil Farmack resumes his position in P2. Stormfly still in the pits, just getting to that fresh set of boots on. As I say, he's going on to the softs. Osman, is he going to move through into 3rd while Stormfly is in the pitch? Yes, he is. So Osman up into 3rd then. Where's Method? Method is crossing the light. Well, he's going to move up, I think. He's going to get the jump on Stormfly, but the fuel light is flashing. So Method is going to have to be careful. He's going to have to do a little bit of fuel saving, I think, if he's going to finish this lap off. That really surprises me, actually. I thought, especially on the hard tyres, I thought Method might have come in to get those tyres changed and get some fuel, but now he's got to be careful. because he has very little fuel left. Stormfly back out on those soft tyres as we said he would be, and in 5th, but he knows the guys ahead of him have yet to pit. So Willard in 6th, he's staring at the back of Stormfly's car. Willard is going to be in probably at the end of this lap. His fuel light is flashing. Sir Nath, he's going to be in soon as well. He's running out of fuel. Unforgiven, 1 second penalty. It's not been a great race, has it? Had a brilliant qualifier, did Unforgiven. Started 4th on the grid. Before he even got halfway through the first lap, he found himself down in 11th, but he's now back up to 8th. Carrying a 1 second penalty though, and has got one more pit stop to make. That front left tyre looking very sorry for itself, so that's going to be giving him some grief. So he's going to serve this penalty now, and will he come in, or is he going to try and get one more lap out of those tyres? I think he's going to try for one more lap actually. So he's obviously got the hard tyres to come. Doesn't want to go on those. As we see, Method into the pit. Willard is into the pit. So is Nath. So again, we're going to see quite a flurry into the pits at the end of this lap. And Wadru is going to be one of those that is coming in with Neil Farmack in 2nd. He's also going to have to come in. Osman currently in 3rd. He's going to have to come in. So Stormfly, this is where he can make his move. Now then, he is a little bit behind Wadru. Let's have a look and see the difference. Yeah, so Wadru is staying out. Wadru decided to stay out for one more lap. Not a lot of fuel in the tank, but he's decided that he's going to try and push, so make this a good in lap. Wadru wants to open that gap just a little bit more. Neil Farmack has decided to come in. Didn't think he'd get one more lap out of that fuel tank. So change of tyres for Neil Farmack. Onto the hards he goes. Osman also into the pit. So Stormfly has gone around turn 14. He's crossing the start finish line. So the fuel going into Neil Farmack's car now. It depends how much he puts in, but it looks like Stormfly has managed to jump Neil Farmack and move up into P2. Neil Farmack now heading out of the pits. You can just see Stormfly turning round first corner. So Neil Farmack out into 3rd, where he was when he came in actually. Osman still in the pits, getting some fuel and back out. He's going to join back in 4th. His closest to him is going to be Brian Moncani, and he's only just crossing the start finish line, having made his final stop. Unforgiven into the pits then. Method already made his stop. He's out on a fresh set of soft tyres. Now our race leader is in. Wadru into the pit. You can see the pit crew like coiled springs, ready to pounce as soon as that Ferrari stops. Yeah, super quick, eh? Anyway, Stormfly just coming around turn 14. Now then, Wadru in the pit, fuel going in. This is going to be very, very close. As Stormfly comes across the start finish line, the fuel's still going in. Now then, Wadru, that's enough for him. 65 litres, he says. Let's go on board with Stormfly. As we head down towards turn 1, and we can just see the red Ferrari up ahead. So Wadru has managed to get out back in front ahead of Stormfly, but Wadru is going to be on the soft tyres, so this is where the race really starts to warm up. A quick look behind us, and I don't think there's any more cars left on the track. The gap is that big, but it is Stormfly in 2nd on the soft tyres with 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes to go, so he really has got to start putting some pace in now. There is the red Ferrari of Wadru just up ahead, and it is the chase that's on. Wadru just has to try and stay ahead for the next 9.5 minutes. Oh, and Stormfly going off onto the grass. You can see how hard he's pushing. He's using every inch of the track, but he is getting closer and closer to Wadru. Wadru very quick. Previous multiple championship winner is Wadru, so he doesn't mess about. And then we've got the Flying Dutchman of Stormfly chasing him down, and this is going to be a real battle to the end. Neil Farmack holding on to P3 at the minute after his disastrous. He could have been involved in that little fight up ahead, But in fact, I've got to go back to it. I'm going to go down then have a look somewhere else. The gap is just closing. By the second, it looks like Wadru on those cold, hard tyres probably needs another lap to get them up to temperature and start to get some grip. But in the meantime, Stormfly on those soft tyres, he is pushing and pushing hard. He's got plenty of overtake juice, at least half a tank of it. But then again, so has Wadru, so he's going to be picking their moments to use it as Wadru goes very wide through the hairpin at turn 6, through turn 7 they go then. Stormfly getting closer and closer. Let's have a look. Neil Farmack in 3rd, Osman 4th, Brian Moncani in 5th. He's in a bit of a fight with Method. Then we've got Nathan 7th, Willard in 8th, Grasshopper 9th, Unforgiven 10th, then Rossi, Sai, and then Tidders. But back up to the battle at the top, and well, it's pretty inevitable really. I think my 50p is safe. The way they're going, all bar some kind of disaster, it does look like Stormfly is going to take the lead off of Wadru and take this race as Wadru uses the overtake button. But here he comes, the Flying Dutchman dives to the inside before they get to turn 1. Has got the better grip on the softer tyres, and Stormfly moves up into the lead. Not a lot that Wadru could do about that. There was the combined effort of the softer tyres and the slipstream, and Stormfly made an easy move. Wadru just has to sit behind him and try and stay in the slipstream and hope for something to happen. Neil Farmack still in 3rd. Let's have a look at this battle which was taking place earlier. Brian Moncani and Method. We'll go on board with Method as we come down the straight. A quick look behind us now. Nathan's there in 7th at the minute. Oh, and what we got going up ahead? It is Brian Moncani making a move on Osman. In fact, we'll go back, shall we, and have a quick look at this. So on board with Brian Moncani, dives to the inside, uses that slipstream really well, and the grip of the soft tyres, gets that move done before turn 1. It wasn't Osman, was it? It was Tidders. I thought it was Osman. Oh, this is so confusing with the back marker, but it was Brian Moncani that made a move on Tidders, but he had to because he's lapping him. I do apologise, Osman. I thought Brian Moncani was battling away with you, but no, he's not, because Osman is up ahead. I'm just looking at the map at the top right. I need to stop looking at that map. So anyway, Brian Moncani in 5th, Method is 6th, Nath is 7th, Grasshopper 8th, having made loads of stops again, and on the hard tyres now for his final stint. He's used the softs twice, mediums once, and out onto the hard, so 3 stop for Grasshopper. Again, I think he did this last week and it didn't pay off for him, so well, I don't know why he's used it again this time around, but only he knows. I think he spent just too long in the pits to do a 3-stop. But Grasshopper currently sitting in 8th, Unforgiven in 9th, with Willard 10th, Rossi 11th, then Sai, and then Tidders. Stormfly, having taken the lead, is now looking to stretch his legs and really open up a gap before he starts to lose the grip on those tyres. They're about a third of the way through on the front left, but still plenty of grip for Stormfly. Wadru still sitting in 2nd on the hard tyres. His nearest rival to him is Neil Farmack, also on the hard tyres, but the gap is quite a good one, at least half the length of the straight. Osman looking good for 4th. So yeah, I'm sure he'll be pleased with that. I know he would like to be up amongst the top 3 guys, but still 4th, if it's his first time out in this car, he should be pleased with that. Brian Moncani currently sitting in 5th with Method chasing him down, so Brian Moncani's got to keep his eyes on the mirrors. Both on the soft tyres, Method slightly newer tyres, and has got a little bit of the overtake juice going, and into the slipstream as well, so we'll just stay with these two just to see if Method can get the job done before we get to turn 1. I'm not sure he's close enough. and Brian Mulcahy gets to the first corner ahead of Method, but Method getting closer and closer. So Brian Mulcahy definitely needs to keep his eye on the mirrors. Oh, and he's picked up a penalty as well. Well, Method doesn't need to do anything now, does he? He's just got to sit and follow Brian Mulcahy around, and he will take P5 away from him. Oh, that was such a shame for Brian Mulcahy. They're having such a great race as well. We'll just follow them through now, because as soon as they come around turn 14 at Panasonic, that is where the penalty zone is, about 100 yards down the road. But I think Method's looking to get the move done before they even get there, and he has. A great move around the outside at turn 11 and 12. So Brian Mulcahy down to 6 and got a 1 second penalty to serve. So it could be Nath that takes advantage. So Nath could move up now into P6. So Brian Mulcahy just about to serve his penalty. And we'll just stick with Nath to see whether he gets through. Yeah, there we go. So Brian Mulcahy stays to the right, serves his penalty. Nath now moves up into 6th and can get on after Method. Brian Mulcahy, unlucky for him, down in 7th. Unforgiven in 8th, he's still battling away, it looks like, with Grasshopper, but Rossi's in there as well. Rossi looking to make a move on Grasshopper as they come down towards turn 1. Rossi on the soft tyres, Grasshopper on the hard, and an easy move for Rossi there with the superior grip. So Rossi up into P9 and chasing Unforgiven. Unforgiven, I believe, is on the... Oh, he's on... Where's he gone? Unforgiven is on the hard tyres as well. So Rossi could be looking at claiming another victim and making his way up into P8. Doesn't want to forget about Grasshopper, though. Grasshopper looks like he's starting to fight back a bit. Rossi used all of the overtake juice as we're just coming into the last couple of minutes of this race. And it's really starting to hot up, and Neil Farmack has actually come into the pits. Why has Neil Farmack come into the pits? He's just going to get rid of those hard tyres. Maybe he's going to go for the fastest lap just to try and pick up an extra point. He's not going to lose track position, I don't think. Yeah, there we go. He's coming out onto the softs. So I think Neil Farmack knows he's got P3 and pretty much secured, so he's probably going to be looking at the fastest lap then, so let's keep an eye on that. Currently held at the minute by Stormfly on a 1:18.0. So Neil Farmack really does need to get a move on, doesn't he? Our race leader Stormfly, let's have a look. We have about a minute and a half to go, so this could be the next lap. The next lap could be the last lap as Stormfly comes around turn 14 then onto the straight. Now using the overtake juice, and why not? This is going to be the last lap, so you might as well keep your finger on it and give yourself a proper good boost. 175, 176, 77. Let's just see what the top speed is. 100 and touching 179 miles an hour before hitting the brakes to get into turn 1. So that boost really does help. Wadru currently sitting in 2nd with Neil Farmack pushing to get that fastest lap. Osman comfortable in 4th. Then we've got Method. Nath, how close is he to Method? Well, hopefully we'll get a shot now. Well, there's a gap there, isn't there? Brian Mulcahy, well, Brian Mulcahy's decided to start collecting penalties. Had a second on the last lap, half a second on this lap, not to mention the ones we haven't spotted, so probably a couple of minutes if you add them all up together. Unforgiven and Rossi making a move exactly the same as he did with Grasshopper on the previous lap, and he's now decided to make the move on to Unforgiven, and a great move it was as well. A brilliant racing from Rossi, positioned his car exactly where he wanted it, and Unforgiven, not much he could do about that. Unforgiven's fuel light flashing as they now come to the end of this race. So, oh, I've missed it. I'm going to go back. I was just about to say we're going to go up to our race leader so we can see him finish, and I just missed it, so we've just gone back. We do like to see the leaders finish, don't we? And Stormfly got his strategy absolutely spot on. Well done to him. Finished the race with a little bit of fuel to spare as well, so Stormfly crossed the line to take the win. Fantastic stuff. Wadru in second. Led for most of the race, didn't he? Just couldn't fight against Stormfly's tactics. And then quite a big old gap then back to Neil Farmack, who changed to softs. He had an extra stop to try and get the fastest lap, and let's see if he can get it. 1:18.0 is what he's got to beat. Oh, it's going to be close. Not quite as Neil Farmack crosses the line to take third. Osman, is he going to... Well, this is a race to the finish, isn't it? Method into the slipstream, but I think Osman's going to get there just ahead of Method in fifth. Nath is going to cross the line in sixth. Good race from him. Now what's happening at the back? Brian Moncani currently in seventh. He's going to cross the line in seventh. Yes, he is, with Rossi in eighth. Good racing from Rossi. Ninth is Unforgiven. 10th is Grasshopper. 11th will be Willard. Sai and Tidder's already crossed the line, and Willard finishing in 11th. So that was your League One guys in the Super Formula. We have got another league, which I'm hoping to bring you a little bit later, so keep your eye out for that. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed these races, just remember, could you hit that like button for me? And if you've not already subscribed, you would be doing me a massive favour if you could. In the meantime, until next week, take care, and I shall catch up with you.